Hello guys, this is Oleg again. So today we're going to talk about latest and greatest from the Apple products. The new 2017 iMac with 4K Retina display. So what I have for you is unboxing, initial setup, configuration, performance metrics measurement, and especially for the display and speed of SSD drive which I have on this config. This setup in particular got 16 gig of RAM as well, so it's a top notch in that category. And I'm gonna compare it as well to my previous iMac, which is late 2012 model, just to see what's the difference and how far Apple progressed in iMac line and how beautiful it is to have 4K video on the new iMac 2017. So I got this nice package. It was received a couple days ago and sent pretty much over 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, and that should have the latest iMac inside. Okay, so let's see. And as beautiful as it is, here it comes. New iMac from Apple, 21.5-inch size. Okay, so let's open it up and see how beautiful it is. The packaging of the Apple product, as usual, is pretty solid and very, very good. So you open this up. Here's the keyboard on the top. So we got new keyboard design as well. That's one of the things. Power cable. Okay. And this is the beauty in its own. As you can see, it's packaged pretty nicely. Let's open it up. And voila! It's gorgeous. Look at that. It's pretty thin as well on the sides. See? It's almost impossible to fit very powerful computer in this little space. But Apple managed to do it, and they've done it very well. I like opening new products. It's very clean look, very nice. Okay, right now you see that the system booted up. And it's looking for the time machine backup, and that's what I'm intended to do because I want to transfer information from this machine to the new machine. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you the difference in the keyboards. So this is the new keyboard, and if you see, it's very low profile and it has no batteries whatsoever. So this is Lightning port and the battery is integrated inside. Once the battery goes low, you just connect the cable to your Mac and it will charge. Versus the original keyboard, which was driven by the batteries over here. Alright, so the same is actually true for the trackpad. This is the new design of the trackpad, and it's white and it's nice. It feels very, very soft and nice. There's a switch here. Again, there is a connector to charge versus the original trackpad, which is this one, and it's driven again by the two batteries. So from the design perspective and how it looks on the table, these two are pretty different, right? So this one is a little bit higher angle, but this one is more like down on the table, and I think this is gonna be more useful and convenient for the actual user to use because your hands are not like lifted up, it's resting on the table pretty much. The keyboard themselves, the new design of the keys, how they press. This one is a little bit higher and this one is a little bit lower as well. And the move of the key, this one got more movement going down, this one got less movement going down. Right now, this is the new Mac 2017 and this is 2012, middle 2012. The first thing you see immediately, which is really shines in your eyes, is the display. Display on this machine is amazing. It's gorgeous. It's just 4K display and you can scale it if you want. The colors gamut is very bright and beautiful, and 500 nits on this display is really bright. And right now, as you can see, it's quite bright right now, but you can go even lower and it's still gonna be good. But I let system manage the brightness usually, and that's why it is like that. This is the original Mac and it's currently running at full brightness as well. And it's similar on brightness in terms of this particular picture. You cannot really see much of the difference, but the details on that picture are shown much better than on this one. Second thing which we're gonna do to test these systems is the boot time, because we want to know, even though the comparison is not really gonna be adequate, because this machine is i7 with 16 gig of RAM and this machine is i5 with 8 gig of RAM, but the question is more likely like, is the upgrade was justifiable? Is it really worth your money to invest some extra and get this machine, and then you probably can sell the original Mac to somebody else who would be okay with the existing performance of that machine. Alright, so let's do the boot time. Alright, so time to measure the boot time on these two systems. See, I got my stopwatch on my iPhone right now, so let me just click on these two buttons. Let me find them first. Alright, 1, 2, 3. So this system is booting up. This one is still going. The screen is different. This one is widescreen, the original one shown widescreen. Okay, this system is ready to log in. This one is still going. So let's see, that one is finished on 30 seconds or 25 seconds on boot. This old machine is probably really cluttered in terms of the processors and things which are booting up with the system. But looks like it's almost done. Okay, minute 25. Okay, now we're ready to press enter. Okay, let's do it. Boom. Okay, this system is ready. This one is still going. Now this one is coming up, so it's still coming up. Okay, done on 14 seconds. Okay, so next up what we're gonna do, I have a couple tests here which I would like to run on these two systems to compare. So first one is a Geekbench. That one will measure the CPU and memory response time and overall system performance. So let's run that. We're gonna run in 64-bit mode. Alright, as you can see, there are some detailed information about the processor. It's i7 7700 CPU running at 3.6 GHz and it's going 16 GB of RAM at 2400 MHz DDR4. Alright, so the OS level is the same on both machines. Right, range benchmark here. Alright, so this one is i5 and running is 2.7 GHz and it's got 1600 MHz 8 GB DDR3 memory. The OS level is again 10.12.6. We're gonna run test at 64-bit. And here is the result. Right, so single core is 44, almost 4500, the score, and multiple core is almost 18,000 on the score. So this is the details on the data. So if you got integer and floating point and memory performance, all of them are pretty high. If you go to original system, it's way lower. So on single core we only got 3000, and on multiple core we only got 9000, a little bit over 9000. So as you can see, performance-wise, this machine, the new one, is much faster. It's mostly attributed to the new CPU and faster memory. But I think the most beautiful part, which we're going to test right now, is actual I/O performance on the disks, which are embedded into these machines. For that, we're going to be using Blackmagic Disk Speed Test. So many of you probably familiar with this program. So we're going to run and say select target drive, and I'm going to go to downloads. That's going to be our target drive here. Okay, so let's start test on the new server, on the new system. Whoa, almost 2000 megabyte per second on write and more than 2300 megabyte per second on read. This system is way faster than even my MacPRO. And you can see from the checklist, everything is checked. So you can do all kind of work using this particular machine because it's capable of driving 4K, 2160p at 60 frame per second rate. So it's gonna be working very well for you for all kind of workloads. Okay, let's do the other one. So this one is original. This one is original system. Let's do the test on this one. This got a SATA disk. And even though it's SATA 6, but it's only 57, 60 megabyte per second, very, very low. And 80 on read, peaking 80, 73, 74. So roughly the new system is like 30 times faster. 30 times, can you believe that? 30 times faster than this machine. And the difference is, this one is 2012, late 2012 server, and the new one is 2017. So you can tell from the checkbox here that you can do some work on this disk using this particular disk, but most of the workflow are going to be cancelled for you and closed because you're not going to have enough I/O throughput to manage that workload. As far as I know, many people who actually got these old systems, first thing they do, they replace the hard drive from whatever Apple put here. I think it's 5400 RPM drive, even though it's 1 terabyte, to SSD. Like that will boost performance of that system right away. But that's the comparison. So as you can see, the I/O throughput profile on the new system is way, way beyond even what we have on the latest and greatest MacBooks and on MacPRO, which I have as well. I'm gonna put comparison charts for all three of them for you so we can see how it's basically relate to each other. For actual scaling possibilities on the new Mac. So if you can see, you can scale it up and you can do things which are very small. And I'm okay with default, but you can go smaller and let's increase the resolution of the screen. On the original Mac, you only have these options. The highest one is HD resolution, and you can go lower, but you cannot go higher, right? So this is the difference on the screens. And this screen difference is pretty significant. If you look on the high resolution pictures, you will see the difference between the new one and the old one. The wireless setup of the things. This new system supports wireless 802.11ac, so that's boost up the speed right away on your connection using wireless. You can also use the cable. There is a gigabit connector on the back, but you can see TX rate right now is 1300 megabit per second. On the original system, you only have wireless N, which is 802.11.n, and the speed is 450 megabit per second, which is still decent, but it's still going to impact your load and speed, how fast you load the pages on the Safari. So let's compare those. So this is the Safari. It's also going to do the test on how fast the applications open on the new Mac and how fast it's opened on the old one. So this is Safari. So boom, it's ready, right? And now I can go to apple.com. Boom, it's here. Right, it's right here. So this one, let's go here and do Safari as well. Open pretty fast too. And if you go apple.com, that's pretty much instant as well. So from the performance of the internet, it's the same, almost the same. Depends maybe if your pages are cached or not, but in general, they're pretty close to each other in terms of the opening the pages and opening the apps. In terms of the opening actual apps, if you go on the old one and open, for example, preferences, it's gonna be, well, it's relatively fast. If you go on the new one and open preferences, it's instant. So there is a difference right here. Okay guys, so here we have it. Performance comparison, quick performance comparison between the two systems. The new one, 2017 iMac, 21-inch, with i7, 4 GB of RAM and the memory card, 16 gig of the actual RAM, and i7 CPU, versus the previous one, which is 2012, which is slightly, let's say, lower on the performance metrics, because this one has only got i5 and it's only got 8 GB of RAM. The memory on the graphic card is way below. I think it's 2 gig, but I might be wrong on that. Comparing the two, the most beautiful thing which you see right away is the performance boost on the I/O, because the I/O profile on this system is amazing. It's so fast, you cannot even believe that. And we know that currently on all the computers, the slowest component usually was considered to be a disk, because everything else is fast and usually you're waiting for your disk to finish whatever operations you're doing. So every OS is basically waiting on I/O, and I/O is your access to the disk. This one is lightning fast, and that's why everything else is speeding up as well, because the disk is responding instantly. The display is a separate story. I love this display. It's very nice. The colors are so deep and they're so soft at the same time. When you look on the pictures, they're not really sharp in terms of the, you know, that hurt your eyes, but they're very nice looking, and the resolution of the display is amazing. I'm very impressed with this machine. This one is also very good. Like, the display was good at the time for level of 2012. That was HD. The colors on this one, on the old system, are very solid as well. They're pretty good too. Like, if you don't see the new one and you only see the old one, you're gonna be okay. But as soon as you see the new one, you would not want to return to the old one, because this machine is like beauty to work on, and it's full joy to work on. And for video production and for photo editing, this machine is going to be amazing. The only thing is that currently, if you go with a disk which is 1 TB in size for SSD, that's going to cost you a while. So my option for this machine is that plenty of enclosures which are USB Type-C, which I can connect on the back, so I can offload some of the workflow for this particular system to do my primary file workflow on the main disk while using its speed, and once the project is complete, archive it on the external enclosure, which is going to be USB Type-C, and it's probably going to be SSD, which is going to be cheaper than actually getting one right away in the system. Plus, it's going to be portable, so I can take it with me anywhere I want to go. Alright, so here we have it. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for more videos. Peace, bye.